Hey guys, this is going to be your Tuesday video report. I got your free plays coming your way in just a moment. I am bright and chipper today, but believe me, it has nothing to do with handicapping. It's all because of the pain medicine I'm on, because yesterday I had another wonderful visit to my surgeon, who I happened to mention to you about a week and a half ago here on the video report, that if he happened to be a handicapper, I would have fired his ass weeks ago. Now listen, last night, yours truly had a 15-time best bet winner, number 4 out of 5 in the NBA on the Houston Rockets, a 10.5-point favorite at home in revenge against Indiana Pacers, a Pacers team that had lost 7 of its previous 8 games, allowing 118-plus points a game in that stretch, a Pacers team that was 9-19 straight up on the road. Naturally, Indiana goes into Houston. They win their game outright going away. Go figure. But I'm telling you, as bad as that call was, it's nothing. It pales in comparison to the calls that my surgeon has made in terms of my recovery. I go into this surgery 11 and a half weeks ago. Now, granted, I am absolutely in agony in November and December. I mean, I'm not a guy, listen, if the plane is scheduled to leave at 3 o'clock, I'm at the airport at 2:15. Okay, I'm that guy. I don't want to be there anytime early. The day of my surgery, 11 and a half weeks ago, I was there an hour early. I would have bought all the nursing staff coffee and donuts if they would have wheeled me in sooner and given me drugs and knocked me out. I mean, I was there early. I was waiting. And he was on a conference call, and they delayed my surgery 45 minutes, and I'm going, give me drugs. Knock me out. I don't want to wait anymore. Get him off the damn phone. So I had the surgery, and going into the surgery, 4 to 6 weeks was the recovery time. I was going to feel great, he said. 4 to 6 weeks turned into 8 to 10 weeks. I go to my post-operative checkup, one of them 3 weeks ago, and he says, well, you're not healing quite as fast as I expected. Gee, I could have told you that. I go yesterday, and he says again, it's a little better, but not really looking that good. Yeah, I could have told you that going into yesterday's appointment. So after he puts me through agony yesterday, he says, well, I got to see you back in 4 more weeks because we're going to have to do this treatment again. I'm thinking, hold it. Now, I'm drugged up. Legal drugs, mind you. Love Percocets, one of my favorite drugs, along with Tramadols, along with Flexerols. Really, I like all 3 of them, depending on the mood I'm in at that moment. I'm going to need Prozac soon, however, though, if this keeps going on, because I'm doing the math and I'm going, okay, 11 and a half weeks from surgery, 4 more weeks, that's 15 and a half weeks. And of course, if you're going to see me in 4 weeks and you're going to do another procedure, well, then I'm going to be seeing you 3 to 4 weeks afterwards, and now I'm suddenly going to be at 18 to 19 weeks. What happened to the 4 to 6 weeks initially? Where was my guarantee? My late father used to say, you can bitch about it, but nobody's going to listen. But again, it's my video report. I can bitch all I want. So I may have lost with the Rockets yesterday, but nothing compared to the lousy calls of my surgeons make. And this guy has been voted one of the top doctors. I mean, I shopped around for a top surgeon to do this surgery. But hey, listen, all kidding aside, these are the breaks you get. I mean, sometimes it just doesn't go right. Don't I know it? Okay, so we're moving right along here. How about that lousy free pick on the Boston Celtics last night? Haven't lost many free picks that badly, but that certainly was one. It is not a great card tonight. That much I can tell you. I mean, my best bet tonight is a very small 5-dime play, my lowest rated play on Kentucky and Vanderbilt. But let's talk about a couple of games that I handicapped that I thought are interesting, because sometimes it's not necessarily that I love a free play, but I get into looking at certain teams and I want to discuss them here to you. Because maybe they're games that you looked at, maybe some of the information that I gathered maybe will sway you one way or another. The Big 12 is not a conference that I particularly specialize in. It's just not a great conference as far as I'm concerned, because on any given name, you never know what you get from Kansas, Baylor, from West Virginia, etc. I just don't think it's a great basketball conference, period, okay? Bottom line, I just never have been in love with it. So I'm looking at the Iowa State-Oklahoma State game tonight. And I had known that the Cyclones, Iowa State, have been playing very good ball here of late. 5 straight wins. They just beat Baylor at home on Saturday, 72-69. And I thought, hey, I haven't really looked at Oklahoma State in a while. Now, listen, guys, there's 347 Division I teams. I can probably tell you something, a lot, actually, not something, a lot, about 250 of those teams. But Oklahoma State, after that 11-2 start in non-conference play, they got off to a lousy start in Big 12 play. In fact, lost their first 6 conference games. I kind of lost track of the Cowboys. So I started investigating the game because I thought, hey, Iowa State minus 3 points at home. This is a gimme. And then I thought, well, hold it. Why is Iowa State so cheap considering the fact that Iowa State's been playing so good? And then I started to look at Oklahoma State and what a turnaround this team has made. And it kind of reminds me of UTEP. who I've talked to about to you a number of times here the past couple of weeks. A team that overcame I think it was a 2-12 or 2-13 skid to win. I think it's 10 of their last 12 games, and they've reeled off 11 straight covers, right, in Conference USA action. But what a turnaround Oklahoma State has done here. Oklahoma State now, this is a team that was 12-20 last year, right? 0 for, lost every single conference game last year on the road, okay? This is a team that has won 5 straight conference road games. They won at Texas Tech, won at Oklahoma, won at West Virginia, won at TCU, won at Kansas State. I mean, they're not exactly beating the little sisters of the poor here, okay? Because Tech and West Virginia and TCU, even Kansas State, even Oklahoma, they have all had very good success playing at home this season. This is a team that has, just played damn good ball. They've won 5 straight games as well overall. And it really is their success has to be credited in large part to Brad Underwood, the guy who took over the team, came from Stephen F. Austin. This is a team that has played so well, and one of the keys is that they're playing at a slightly lower tempo than they were earlier in the season, and they're also playing a little more, I don't want to say they're playing better defense. They're actually playing a little different defense in terms of their style. They're not constantly pressing up and down the floor, and consequently, they reduce the number of points that they're giving up in play per game during this nice recent run of success. So I looked at this game and I thought to myself, maybe that line is trying to tell us something. And you have to be careful when handicappers and gamblers say, hey, the line's trying to tell you something. What are they trying to tell you? That you're late for dinner? That someone's knocking at the door? The line is just set. It's an arbitrary number to try to get action on the game on both sides to make the odds makers, the sports books, the bookies money, right? But I'm looking at this game and I'm just thinking to myself, hey, maybe it's a letdown situation for Iowa State. You knocked off Baylor at home, and yes, I know you're playing at home here right now, but Oklahoma State is a team that can probably give you fits because of the way they have the guards matchups. I think they have an advantage there in the backcourt. I think they're a better defensive team than Iowa State. So although the Cyclones are playing well, you just can't go against, I think, a team that has reeled off 5 straight conference road wins. So even though it's Iowa State's home finale, I think this game's going to come down to the wire. And I would grab whatever points you can get, and I just like Oklahoma State. Yeah, and listen, guys, it's a hunch, but I just like them in this game after handicapping the game. So that's your complimentary play there. The other one in the NBA, I'm going to go with Oklahoma City plus the 1.5 points at home tonight against the Utah Jazz. Utah Jazz playing, the third game on the road in a 5-day stretch since the All-Star break ended. Now, they're 2-0 out of the break so far. They won at Milwaukee 109-95. They won at Washington 102-92. These two teams have split the first 2 meetings during the regular season, both being in Salt Lake. Utah won the first one 109-89 on December 14th. Then they lost 97-95 on January 23rd. Now, the Thunder, of course, are 2-0 out of the break. They beat up New Orleans on Sunday, 118-110. I can't really say they beat them up. It was a great effort by Russell Westbrook for them to win that game. And, of course, they took care of business against the Lakers, 110-93. Taj Gibson and Doug McDermott really haven't made much of a contribution yet, but the guy who really has made a contribution has been the return of Enes Kanter, who, after missing 10, 12 games because he lost the battle with the folding chair and broke his forearm late in January, first game back was against the Lakers, and he was okay in that one with 4 points and 7 rebounds, but he had 20 points and 9 rebounds coming off the bench against the Pelicans, and they were much needed points and rebounds because obviously he, along with Steven Adams, gave the Thunder 2 big men to counteract DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis, and they needed every single one of those points and rebounds to win that game. I just think this is a good spot to take Oklahoma City in this spot here tonight. Now, the Jazz have played well on the road. They're 17-11 straight up. The Thunder have played well at home, 22-8 straight up. Thunder are 3 games behind the Jazz in the race for first place in the Northwest Division. I just like Oklahoma City in this spot. Of the 2 plays, I probably like Oklahoma City more than Oklahoma State. So there you go for what it's worth. But again, they're both free plays. And as I told you, I think it's a very weak card tonight. So that'll do it, guys. I wish you well. And I'll talk to you again tomorrow when we do this again.